everyone, I'm Sarah and this is part of Sarah's World. Thank you all so much for stopping by my channel. Today's video is going to be all about advice for your 2020 park vacation. I know many of you have been really looking forward to Disney reopening, and you have that August or October trip and you just want to know everything, and so you've been following everyone on Instagram and their YouTubes and their blogs, just trying to figure out what can I expect. A few days ago, I made a video answering your specific questions about the parks reopening, so go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. This video is more about my advice to you. Really just trying to narrow down to what I think is most helpful and what you may have not heard before. I am separating this video into 3 categories. The first being what to bring, the second being pre-planning, transportation, and parking, and number 3 would be how to maximize your time while in the parks. First up, we're going to talk about what to bring. I'm only going to list a few items here, but it's just things that I think that you might want to think about while packing. And yes, we're going to talk about masks. I've had a lot of people ask me, how many masks do I need to bring in a day? Like, I have a mask, how many backup masks? I think you only need to bring 1 backup mask, but definitely bring 1 because it rains a lot in Florida, and if you get caught in a rainstorm, you'll be left with a soggy, gross mask. So I would definitely recommend bringing a backup mask, and if you are a naturally very sweaty person, maybe even bring a second backup mask. And because you will be wearing a mask, there are some things that you might want to consider when thinking about the rest of your wardrobe. When it comes to your wardrobe, I would consider wearing as little clothes as possible. I would consider just not layering up a whole bunch, being as comfortable as you possibly can, because wearing a mask feels like 5 extra layers to your body. And so if you have a mask, a dress with like a tank top underneath and, you know, shorts underneath and like all this stuff going on, you're just going to be really uncomfortable. You're just going to be pulling things around the whole time. It's going to be potentially stressful. So I would consider being as comfortable and lightweight as possible. And this kind of goes along with it, makeup. I would highly recommend that you wear as little makeup as possible because, I mean, if you wear a face full of makeup, even if you put the makeup like above your mask, it's still going to seep into your mask. It's not going to be cute. It's not going to be comfortable. You're not going to like it. As far as what I do for makeup, I literally just wear a light coat of mascara when I go to the parks now. It was an adjustment because I wasn't quite used to that, but it is definitely a better experience than wearing a mask, a full face of makeup, in the Florida heat for sure. And the last item that I would recommend you pack that is, you know, not the obvious stuff would be gloves. Why? Because of the rides that require you to touch things. Now, you can't omit those rides. However, things like Toy Story Mania and Millennium Falcon, you might not want to miss out on. And so you might be left with a choice as to just sit there and not do anything or play, and, you know, that can feel a little gross. Attractions that you would potentially need gloves for would be Toy Story Mania, Millennium Falcon, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, and Spaceship Earth. Alright, congratulations everyone, we made it through the first category, and now you officially know what to bring with you for Walt Disney World. Whoosh! Hi, beepies. Okay, well, we lost Fozzie, but we have a Miko, or at least a Miko butt. Okay, so category number 2, planning ahead, parking, transportation, all that super fun stuff. My first piece of advice is for pass holders. If you are a pass holder that is going to be staying multiple days, I would consider staying in a Disney resort. Basically, how reservation system works is it's kind of like a pie chart. So theme park ticket guests, resort guests, and annual pass holders, we each have our own like max number of how many of us can be at the park. Pass holders, most of those days are taken up for Hollywood Studios for the entire month of August. There is not a whole lot of flexibility in general when it comes to resort guests. However, they have open availability. They can change last minute. It is much flexible for resort guests. My second tip is for those staying at the Skyliner resorts. So Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, Art of Animation, Riviera Resort. Now, you can take the Skyliner to go to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. However, I would strongly consider having a backup plan, such as having an Uber ready for you. Reason being is because I have heard that these Skyliner wait times have increased significantly. I don't know if it's because of social distancing. I'm not really sure what it is. All I know is that I have heard people say that in the mornings, the wait time to get to Hollywood Studios from the Skyliner is an hour-long wait, which is unacceptable. However, you may be thinking, well, I'll just take a bus. The issue with that is that bus service isn't as readily available for those resorts because of the Skyliner. They are still running, however, to Hollywood and Epcot, not as frequent. So there's different ways to go around this. You could just get to the Skyliner really early. You could go during off times, or if you happen to get stuck in a situation where the Skyliner is just so long of a wait and you don't really know what to do, that might be when you need to have your backup plan ready. Up next, we're going to touch on parking real quick. When can you start parking in the parking lots, and when should you start parking? So Disney's, what it seems like their official rule is that 45 minutes until the park opens is when they start letting people come into the parking lots. However, that's not always true. Sometimes they don't let people line up until 45 minutes until the park opens, so they're pretty inconsistent about that. But the general rule is that 45 minutes until park opening is when they will let you inside the parking lot. When I first started going to the parks during phase reopening, I was really concerned about getting there while everyone else is trying to get there, because everyone gets there at the beginning of the day, and is it going to be crazy? Is it going to be unsafe? Honestly, I think you're fine, because I think some of us have seen pictures of temperature checks going like crazy, lines and lack of social distancing and all this stuff, and we're like, oh no, this is horrible. I haven't actually experienced that myself, so I don't think it is necessary for you to get there like an hour after the park opens. I think as long as you are vigilant and you are as careful as possible, then you should be perfectly fine. And the last piece of advice for this category is about dining. Should you do quick service or should you do table service? Now, if you follow me on Instagram, then you probably know what I already think about this, but I do really think that table service will be a lot safer, will be a lot more convenient, and it's overall just the better choice when it comes to dining during this phase reopening. Typically, a lot of people do quick service for lunch and then table service for dinner. If you can only do like one table service in a day, I would consider flipping that around. Lunch for quick service is a nightmare. Quick service dinner, not that bad. The reasons why you should avoid quick service: one, because once you get your food, you have to go find a table. And sometimes in order to do that, you have to walk over people. You have to, kind of slide through tables, and you will potentially bump into people, and you're carrying this tray, and so many other people are too, and everyone's looking for a table. It's just hectic. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. And then also, as far as mobile order goes, it is pretty convenient. I'm sure many of you have used mobile order before. However, from having your food ordered to getting the food, depending on the restaurant, it can be a little hectic. It can be a bit stressful. And just to avoid all of that, just, go to Le Cellier, Because, if you're not going to go to a quick service place, that's immediately where you're going to go, is Le Cellier, of course. Alrighty, everyone, we have made it to the last category, and this is the fun category. It is about how to maximize your time while at Walt Disney World. One piece of advice that I have been thinking a long time about and that I really want to let you all know is about where you should go first once you enter each park. I'll tell you what, things have potentially changed as far as crowds go, wait times, and things like that. And some of it is not what you would expect. We are going to start with Magic Kingdom. Where should you go first when you arrive at Magic Kingdom? Frontierland. That is where you should start. Reason being is because Splash Mountain, first off, it keeps on breaking down, just like a lot of the rides since the phase reopening. But Splash Mountain is one of them. Also, it rains in Florida, so there is probably going to be some downtime due to the weather. But then also because since they are going to be retheming it, everyone wants to ride it. The wait times midday to evening are typically about an hour long. However, in the very beginning of the day, it's a 5-minute wait. But once that time goes up, it doesn't really go down. Thunder Mountain is probably the other attraction with the highest wait time as well. So hitting up Frontierland first would be your best bet. Hollywood Studios. Where should you go first? You might be thinking Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, of course. You haven't ridden it yet. You need to ride it. And if you don't ride it first thing in the morning, it's going to be an hour wait. In my experience, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway actually gets less busy as the day goes on. However, they will keep it as a high wait time. So for example, when I went on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for the first time during my day, during the phase reopening, they had it as a 60-minute wait. I waited 7 minutes. However, in the mornings, everyone's going straight to Mickey and Minnie's. I mean, it's literally right there. You literally go into the park and you trip and you're there. So why wouldn't you go there first, you know? And because of that, you shouldn't go there first. So where did I go? Slinky Dog. And if you love Slinky Dog, that's where you should go. Now, it probably won't get that busy throughout the day, but that queue line, when you are like in the outside, it's not too fun. So, and because of social distancing, if you have to do like a 30-minute wait, you're going to be waiting out in the hot sun and you're not going to like it. So I would strongly consider doing Slinky Dog as your first attraction. Animal Kingdom. Now this one is also going to surprise you because I'm not going to say Pandora because guess what? That's where everyone's going. And by the afternoon, evening, 10-minute wait. There's literally no reason to rope drop Flight of Passage right now. What do you ride instead? The Safari. Because Animal Kingdom opens up at 8 a.m. and that is a pretty rare time to be able to go see the animals at the safari because typically, even if Animal Kingdom does open at 8 a.m., you might, like on a regular day, you might be heading to Pandora. So for me personally, I rode the safari back to back when Animal Kingdom opened at 8 a.m. So I spent pretty much an hour doing the safari and I do not regret it one bit. It was amazing. Epcot is not too surprising. Test Track and Frozen would be those rides that you want to hit up first because they do get the longest wait times. I believe they average about 40 minutes during the phase reopening. Character cavalcades. When can you see them? Well, as you probably know already, it is so random. You don't know when they're going to show up. However, I have a little advice for you. When you see one cavalcade coming, if it's like the first cavalcade of the day or the first one of a big group, and if you really want to see more, consider hanging out in that area for about 20 minutes and another one should be on its way. Cavalcades are basically one long, slow parade and they go in order every time. So if you're at Hollywood Studios and you notice the Disney Junior cavalcade going by with Doc McStuffins, know that in approximately 20 minutes, you will see Mickey Mouse and friends. Approximately 20 minutes after that, you're gonna see the Pixar pals. So that is what the cast members have been telling me, is that once you see one, about 20 minutes later, the next one will come. So keep that in mind for sure. Alrighty, everyone, we have made it through all 3 categories. However, there is one more piece of advice that I need to give you all, and that is to adjust your expectations. I know, not like the happiest piece of advice, but when it comes to the phase reopening, you know, the first couple weeks, you were probably used to seeing on your social media people posting pictures of an empty Fantasyland or an empty Main Street. Those may have been my pictures, and you may have seen screenshots of really low wait times, and you're just like, this is perfect. I'm gonna go spend all this money, but it's all gonna be worth it because there's gonna be like no wait times. So it is a phased reopening, which means that park capacity I believe is slowly increasing, and then also a lot of people postpone their summer vacations to their fall vacations. So there's going to be a lot more people. Wait times might not be as low. The thing is, I don't know. They could be the exact same. They could also not be. There is really no telling what is going to happen, especially if you are planning out in like October or November. I have no clue what to tell you. For August, it's a bit more predictable, but for those later months, who knows what's going to happen. Just be ready for anything, be flexible, and you know, that's about it. Alright, so I think that is about the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and leave a comment down below letting me know if any of this was helpful for you, and please let me know if you have any additional questions. I would be happy to answer them for you, and if I can't answer them, I will try my best to find that answer for you. If you have already been back to the parks, please leave a comment letting me know, what do you think of this advice? Do you think it's applicable? Do you think there is some stuff that I missed that is really important? Please let me know. And as always, no matter where I am or where you are, we can find happiness right where we are.